Welcome to the heart of Tamagotchi Planet, a world of mystery and wonder. Beneath these waves lies an ecosystem teeming with life, where ancient creatures glide through the depths, and hidden landscapes stretch farther than the eye can see. From the depths of the abyss to the sunlit shallows, the ocean is a realm of endless discovery. Join us as we explore the vast, untamed beauty of the ocean and uncover the secrets it has kept for millennia. Today, we embark on a journey like no other. This is the world beneath the waves.
Welcome to Monster Mashup, where we fear no extreme. And what an extreme do we have today, as I'll be discussing the Tamagotchi Ocean, otherwise known as the Umino. This is considered by most to be the hardest Tamagotchi there is, and for good reason. Hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of this kind of thing, and grab your snorkel because we're diving in. The Tamagotchi Ocean, otherwise known as the Umi or Umino, is a virtual pet from the vintage era. It was released in 1998 in Japan and the US, with minor differences between the versions. Often considered to be the most difficult and finicky Tama even to this day, legend has it that it was designed to mimic the fragility of actual sea life, with more conditions that are regular Tama to keep track of, and the addition of predators. One must track hunger, boredom, health, poop, the lights when sleeping, and discipline, as well as the cleanliness of the water and polar bear and octopus attacks. The motion sensor essentially adds a fourth button, though it only comes into play in one scenario. It is one of the two games to feature raisable Sakanachi, the aquatic species of Tamagotchi, though they make some guest appearances in others. Alongside the Ocean, a themed plastic case was released, which came with a sticker sheet featuring ocean and forest characters. This is hands down one of the prettiest vintage devices in terms of the fluidity of the animations. Pressing the B button to bring up the clock is seamless, and bubbles float in front of the character at all times. Some characters will swim off the screen then back on, which is something that doesn't typically happen. The sound is excellent, with the beeps toned down in intensity and a bit more expressive. The buttons are great, with quick response time that makes the animation and sound feel even better and more in sync. I wish all the vintage devices could stand up to this standard. The shell selection is somewhat limited, but there are some clever theming touches, such as an orangish red shell meant to resemble fish eggs. I personally love the purple shell, though I don't have one myself. I won't be covering the mechanics that are identical to the P1 and P2 as they're common knowledge, but they're all here. I will be getting very technical, so if you don't find that interesting, feel free to skip ahead, but I personally find it super interesting, so your mileage may vary. The most standout of the new features are the polar bear attacks. These can occur in 50-minute intervals, seemingly randomly. A polar bear appears on the left side of the screen while your Tama takes a quick nap. You need to press the clap symbol, which replaces the scold symbol of a normal Tama, as well as tap the unit to scare away the predator. This needs to happen very quickly, as in within seconds. Here's a tip. When playing, I strongly recommend setting a 49-minute timer on your phone after each predator attack, or after an alarm cycle occurs. This will help you stay alert to know when might happen, as the Ocean devices are a little bit quieter than some of the units. If you fail to chase it away, your Tama will get attacked and become injured, requiring healing. Obviously, this is not good, as it can result in death. There are sometimes the bear attacks nearly instantly, and I'm not entirely convinced that it's always avoidable, but it's hard to confirm this. This will be a bit of a theme with this device, as there's a lot of rumors, and there's not nearly as much documentation because it's somewhat rare and it's so difficult that most people just didn't enjoy running it. Next, the octopus is a predator that can appear when playing the happiness game, and this section will be a long one. This game is a glorified left-right, resembling the P1 somewhat, however it uses the visual of two treasure chests, one usually empty and one with treasure. Pick the chest with the treasure 3 out of 5 times and you will gain a happiness heart. Somewhat rarely an octopus will pop out of an otherwise empty chest, which dirties your water by 4 stages, removes all happiness hearts, and instantly ends the game. I ran a test of roughly 150 games and found the octopus to appear about 2% of the time. It did appear multiple games consecutively, which was a frustrating experience, with my longest period of refilling the hearts taking a full 8 minutes. Another tip, I recommend keeping your happiness hearts at around 2 or 3. Going to 4 means having to play the game an extra time, meaning you have another chance to find the octopus, making more games necessary to build the meter back. After an attack, the best thing to do is to clean the water by one stage with a flush in case a follow-up attack occurs, and only clean it all the way after reaching a satisfactory number of happiness hearts. This will just save you frustration and pressing the flush button multiple times if you happen to get attacked again back to back. Based on my experiment, I found that 75% of my 150 games featured a 3-2 split on whether the left or right side was correct. I'll be referring to how many times the left or right side was the correct choice, not how many times I guessed correctly for this guide, if that makes sense. To minimize mistakes and time spent, this is the most efficient way to play the treasure game on the ocean. For the first pick, just guess. If you get it incorrect, restart the game immediately. This can be done extremely quickly. Just press the C button, followed by the B button. It'll take you right out and right back into the game, as this device has very little input lag. Simply, you run a worse chance of succeeding, and every extra guess in a game that's already a risky loss is another chance for the octopus to steal all your happiness hearts. If you guess correctly on the first try, guess the same side again. If you are correct, spam pressing the opposite side, as you statistically will hit a third correct choice and recover a happiness heart. Whenever you choose a chest correctly, you also eliminate the chance of seeing the octopus, which will reduce attacks. If you fail the second choice, choose either side. If by the third guess you haven't had 2 successes, reset the game with a quick C then B. From this point, choose a side that's been correct the fewest number of times so far. This will give you the highest odds of choosing a chest with the treasure and minimize the chance for attacks to occur again. If you follow this guide, your gameplay will go so much more smoothly and efficiently than just guessing each time and playing out games you're likely to lose. If all those steps seem confusing, you can stick to a much simpler version of these rules that I came up with. Just pick the side that has been correct the fewest number of times. It's less efficient than the longer method, but it's still better than random guessing. Water cleanliness is something that will drop over time. Flush the screen as with poop to raise the cleanliness by 1 notch. Light functions differently in the ocean. Towards the evening, the lights will automatically turn off even though the Tama isn't asleep yet, and they'll turn on in the morning automatically too. Turn the lights back on in the evening so you can see what's happening on screen. If your Tama wakes up earlier than the lights naturally come on, you'll need to switch them on manually as well. Watch out for random sickness, as it is much more common on this pet. Also, random deaths will occur. You can do everything correctly, and some Tamas will not make it to teen or adult.
At least the ocean will never leave me. Right, Ocean?
There are some rumors surrounding the game mechanics, as this device is still shrouded in some degree of mystery. There are some things that have been said to be true, however, I have not been able to complete enough runs yet to know empirically if they are or not, but they're part of the device's legacy, and I think they're worth bringing up. Use your judgment, or follow the superstition if it makes you feel better, as this device can be terribly frustrating at times, especially to folks only used to the newer pets. It's said that you can raise an ocean to adulthood without feeding or worrying about happiness and only paying attention to health, predator attacks, and discipline. I have not had this succeed, but there are accounts of it succeeding by posters on various platforms more or less over the course of a decade, so I can't imagine some people haven't had it work. Next, discipline is tied to lifespan. I'm inclined to believe this one based on my experience, but some of the adult forms require low discipline, so I'm not 100% on how that works exactly. Finally, the controversial heart-loss ratio theory. From older guides, it's said that you can tell the likelihood of a run reaching adulthood by how quickly its happiness drops. And starting as a baby, fully fill hunger and happiness, you'll notice that happiness drops at a different rate on different runs. If the happiness drops by 1 heart when the hunger has dropped by only 1 or 2 hearts, according to the theory, this is a bad run with a slim chance of reaching adulthood, and you should reset the device and try again. 3 hunger hearts dropping when only 1 happiness is dropped is much better, and the hunger meter emptying completely when losing 1 happiness heart is considered the best. Some more modern sources claim this has no bearing on the viability of a run whatsoever. Personally, in my testing on the Japanese unit, it has seemed to be helpful as all of my adults were 4-to-1 heart loss ratio. That said, I still had a random death or 2 that were 4-to-1, but I had more random deaths at the other ratios. If anyone wants to debate any of these in the comments, feel free and bring up any evidence you like. I still think they're worth mentioning regardless, as an interesting note in the history of the device. This growth chart is one of the least explored, but there are several guides elsewhere online with more technical info. Factors that may affect your evolution are how many discipline calls were answered, weight, water cleanliness, the passage of hours being awake, and of course whether or not they died randomly in the previous form. It seems that care mistakes primarily, or perhaps exclusively, contribute to lifespan more than anything else. Here are some forms I got, but if you are interested in digging further, there's a small amount of dubious info out there. I'd like to highlight Karo Pianchi, who I've gotten twice, and is one of my favorite Tamas of all time now. I'll be doing a spotlight vid for him in the future. I also want to note that I consider myself very talented at getting hidden characters, and I have not been able to get the hidden character on this one. It's one of the few instances where the US and Japanese releases had the same secret character, even though when it was announced it was said that the US was going to have a different one. Overall, I love this device. One of my favorite aspects of Vpets is the actual care part, and this one requires lots of it. It's rather difficult and requires lots of patience and tedium, but I have not matched the rush that comes from getting adults on any other unit. This Tama is likely not for everybody, and with the price tag it can usually carry, it'll be intimidating on more than one front. Once you get used to the game, it becomes a lot less frustrating, and following the tips I've given will make it a much smoother experience. I don't recommend it for people who are going to be really busy because of how long the child form lasts, so I strongly recommend starting it at the beginning of a weekend for the best chance to catch everything care-wise. The short of it is, if you're looking for a rewarding challenge, the Ocean might just be for you. This very well could be my favorite Tama, and I love it.
And do you, Ocean, take
NoBribeFoul
to be your lawfully wedded husband, till death do you part. The Ocean says yes.
I want to thank you for watching, and please consider supporting the channel and more videos like this with your sub, likes, and comments. See you next time.